Okay, everybody, welcome to, this is our 76th Woodstock High School Alumni Parade, and we're very, very proud of that. As many of you know, this is an old tradition in Vermont where a lot of towns used to have an alumni parade and have it every year, never mind fifth year and all that. But gradually it's kind of drawn down, community after community deciding not to do it. And we're very proud we've kept that tradition alive here in Woodstock. So thanks very much for coming out. So I say this is the 76th annual. Our theme this year in the parade, and as you know we have prizes, is Broadway shows. So the classes have been designed to do a float off a Broadway show that was prominent during the year that they graduated. I've seen the floats down there. We have some really nice ones. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. We have cash prizes for our float designers. We have 3 different categories: the artistic category, the humorous category, and the original category. And then we have the grand prize of all is called the Judges Prize. And there's cash associated with this, $100 for the big one, the Judges Prize. The judges are, oh, there they are over in those seats across from the Woodstock Inn. So there's Joanna Long, there's Tuesday Wright, and there's my wife, Honey Hager, but it's okay because my class doesn't have an entry in the float, so she can be impartial. But that's our judges, and we thank them very much for their service. We'll announce the float winners at the end of the parade, and then whenever the judges get it all set, so it might be 15 minutes after the parade. And we'll also at that time be announcing, if we have it, who came here from the farthest distance away. Last year we had one from Alaska and one from Germany. Had to get out a ruler to figure out which of those was the farthest away. But that's a point. If you came from a long way away and you're a Woodstock High alum, please let them know over here at the class desk, because they'll be the ones awarding the prize. Also at our alumni class desk, there's a 50-50 raffle, so you can buy a raffle ticket. And we're asking people too to pay dues. The email didn't get out this year because of some problems. It's coming out, but we had a print version. Anyway, a dues reminder. Please stop by and pay the dues. They're cheap, it's a bargain. But the dues do pay for scholarships for the high school. There's $10,000 worth of alumni scholarship money that goes to high school seniors every year. So we're very proud of that by the alumni. Don't forget class dinners. Those of you who are high school alumni, class dinners this evening. There's a list of them over here under one of these tent roofs. And there's a food table over there that supports the alumni as well. So if you want a hot dog or hamburger, visit the food tent. There's a breakfast tomorrow morning at the Masonic Temple for just $10, all you can eat. That's quite a bargain. Pancakes, maple syrup, the works. Eggs, bacon and eggs. So $10 a head alumni breakfast, and it's open to everybody. You don't have to be an alum to be there at the Masonic Hall down at the other end of town. That's tomorrow morning. Down here earlier, and I guess it's gone to the line of the parade now, was the memory float. So those who wish to remember, loving memory of alumni passed on for, I think it's $5. You make a little tag and it'll go on the memory float. I believe that'll park here after the parade. And, oh yeah, we welcome this year for the first time the River Frog Band. That's them down in the tent there toward town, but they'll be playing afterwards. So we're very glad to have them. They're all local folks. A couple of them are Woodstock High alum. Okay, Sean Powell, class of 1989, and Rob Merrill, class of 1987. And there's little Pete and Jeremiah and Tony rounding out the River Frogs band. The alumni has asked me to say that they want to honor and thank the community for making the alumni a continuous success and for meeting the alumni objectives of fostering and encouraging goodwill. Continues to be done through activities such as awarding scholarships, which I mentioned, to the senior graduates. They staged a reception for the 50th graduating class. That was yesterday. This parade is paid for by the Alumni Association, and the spring potluck dinner, which is over actually late winter, and other fundraising subjects sponsored by the alumni. So thank you for making the alumni strong and successful. And now we'll wait for the first units to come up. And we got a couple of surprises here as we come along too. Nice weather, by the way. So our parade is just about to begin. The color guard approaching the intersection now. If I have a quick moment, I just wanted to acknowledge the wonderful work of our outgoing president of the Alumni Association, Jean Baker Johnson, who's just been a wonderful president for us. And she's leaving this year after this parade, but she's done a great job. And our parade coordinators are Donna Jones and Dennis Wright. We're proud of them too. So here comes our color guard from the Civil Air Patrol from Lebanon, New Hampshire. Civil Air Patrol cadets. All right, the yellow Jeep coming around the corner, driven by Michael Miller, class of 1973 from Woodstock High, U.S. Marine Corps veteran from Sharon, Vermont, and Erwin Fullerton, class of 1945, who graduated just before World War II was ending. Erwin Fullerton. There's a beautiful horse and wagon driven by Chris and Ingrid Nichols. Okay. And here are the wonderful little miniature horses from Terry Ho. Driven by Barbara Amblo from Charlotte, Vermont. Owners of Vermont's largest breeding farm. Miniature horses. And here is our 50 years out class. A class of 1968. Some of our folks in the class of 68, 50 years out, John and Patsy Roy, Judy Maines, Phil Maines, Linda Atwood, George Spear, Cynthia Pollock, Patty McClay, Brenda Needham, Ray Rasco with the sandwich board. That's our 50 years out class. Here we come, the Harvey Watson, 80 years out of Woodstock High, class of 1938, driven by his wife Lois, Harvey Watson, and he also, double anniversary, retired 50 years ago from the U.S. Air Force. Known to many here as the longtime operator of the Tassville store. Okay, so class of 1942, Norman Boynton, driven by Bruce Gould, class of 1958. from the class of 1943, Harriet Lewis Maines, driven by Neil Johnston, class of 1963. 75 years out for Harriet Lewis Maines. The bagpiper is Tim Morris from Marshfield, Vermont, with the drummer Jonathan Lloyd. And the bicyclists are Jasmine Lance and Callie Filial. And there's Fred Barr with the memory float that we mentioned. Fred Barr driving the float in loving memory of alumni who have passed on. Okay, so nearly 80 years ago, they beautifully crafted a little wooden model of a church that was hand-built in Woodstock to be displayed in the downtown shopping area each Christmas season and playing carols for the holiday. So for about 50 years, it was a fixture downtown, and now you see it emerging. It was hanging a story high from different locations in town, playing a selection of recorded seasonal music from 1939 until the late 1980s. I remember it well from when I was a kid here. And then the display was discontinued. The little church, stored at various locations, structure rotted from exposure to rain and snow, and goats climbed over it, birds soiled it, until this last February when Dennis Wright, former school teacher, Woodstock High class of 1963, set out to find and rescue it just 4.5 months ago. So it's been a kind of an obsession for Dennis, restoring it, a labor of love. He rebuilt the structure. A whole one side was completely rotted out, rehabbed the rest, gave it a new coat of paint. Special thanks too to Faith Hendricks, class of 61, who builds doll houses, and she was able to restore all the windows. So now, for the first time, here's the little church, seen in public for the first time since it was last seen in the late 1980s. So, what's that, 50 years ago? Yeah. And the church itself is 80 years old. Dennis is going to fire it up. It played carols over downtown. And Dennis is the guy with the cloth there. He's the one who restored it. So I'm pretty old. I've got to read you off the names of the drivers. Nelson Gilman, Keith Chase, class of 72. Ona Chase, class of 69. Danny Hewitt, class of 67. Clay Van Alstyne, class of 76. Mike Bartlett, Jennifer Hewitt Bartlett, David Hewitt, Sarah Hewitt, Russell Crane, Brian Lassard, Christine Murphy, Jerry Murphy. So among the oldest of the tractors, there's one from 1937, one from 1948. Got a little hitch down the line here. One of the engines quick, which is not that uncommon for tractors this old. There they got it fired up. There they got it fired up. jump started it. Hey, farmers are innovative. Another one stalled down there that was trying to get going. Beautiful truck. And here are the King's Rangers. So the King's Rangers reenactment group, dating to the Revolutionary War time. Horst Dressler I see down there. Emily Vitale's Charlie Ferraro. And here comes John Doughton, class of 1949, the Phantom of the Opera. John Doughton, proud Woodstock, Vermont selectman forever, for life. 1949. And here's one of my classmates. This is Ron Adams, class of 1956, veteran of the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne, out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, the Screaming Eagles. And this is Woodstock Fire Department's pride and joy, the 1923, can you imagine, 1923 Maxim fire engine. Isn't she a beaut? And its modern successor, Engine 3, driven by Ray Wardwell. And Woodstock Fire and Rescue. Here's the class of 1958 with the Broadway musical Annie, their 60th reunion. Carol Sawyer Corney, Thomas Dutton as Danny Warbucks, Carol Sawyer as Annie, and the drivers Peter Hall. And this is the Hills Band rounding the corner now out of Springfield, Vermont. 45 years old, the Hills Band. Thank you for coming. All right, more reenactors. These people fought at the Battle of Bennington and the Barnard Raid. So they're the Herrick Rangers, a regiment of the Green Mountain Rangers. The Bridgewater Fire Department, pride of Bridgewater. And this beauty, this double-fronted vehicle, is run by the Shriners from Rutland, Vermont, Cairo Temple. Highway Patrol, pretty unique. Out of the Cairo Temple of Rutland. Okay, here's our next class. Fiddler on the Roof, class of 1961. Dale Spooner, Fred Fletcher, Ray Longley, Larry Bailey, Diane Borden is the fiddler, Betsy Ayers, Cindy Thompson, Jane Spooner, Becky Longley, Faith Hendricks, and Lynette Godsell. Class of 1961. And here are these beautiful Percherons and the wooden Calliope wagon come from Stanfordville, New York. Stunning Percherons. And these are the Madcap Shriners out of Montpelier. Temple number 3, third oldest temple in the United States. In the racing three-wheel mini bikes. Love the clowns. Well, this isn't on my sheet, but is it Pomfret? All right, class of 1963, Hello, Dolly. So Dolly is Carol Birmingham Lamson, and Nelson Lamson, class of 62, is driving. But the float is from the class of 1963, 55th reunion. And rounding the corner now the class of 1973 with South Pacific. They're on their 45th reunion. Oh, you like this? So we have Dave Adams, Kathy Mordhorst Tracy, Bob McDonald, Robin Damon, Mike Moore, Jay Morgan, Judge Harold Eaton, George Krantz, Joe Haynes, Gene Maines, and Jane McGee. Class of 1963, South Pacific. This is out of Groton, Connecticut. The Nutmeg Fife and Drum Corps. All the way from Groton, Connecticut. So here's the Tego Fire Department out of South Pomfret. Here comes the class of 1978, the School of Rock. Kathy Mangan, Laurie Welsh, Rocky Harlow, Gail Staples, Rose Wood, Nancy Wardwell, Pam Blood, Doug Lewis, Dwight Doughton, Doug Tuttle, Brian Harrington, Kurt Weiland, Dan Zhang, Monica McCahey, Randy Bates, Neil Lance, Laurie Welsh, Greg Peterson, Tony Roberts, John D. Ekus, Bob Williams, Bob McCready, Mike Saylor.
What difference does it make? What difference? I thought you all were a bunch of little douchebags.
40th reunion, class of 1978. And the West Windsor Fire Department. All right, the Caribbean group is the Island Time Steel Band out of Bethel, Vermont. Caribbean Steel Drum Band under the direction of Scott Paulson. Here's the class of 1981 with Grease. Audie Bellimer, Digger Windsor, Monica Richardson, Shannon Badger Murphy, Wendy Windsor, Lisa Robinson Bellimer, Ken Darling, Penny Clifford, Melissa Tarleton Walker, class of, I think I misidentified them initially, class of 1981. Beautiful. So this is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, class of 1983, on their 35th reunion. And these are the Polish Pickle Packers Polka Band playing the Wiener Dog Polka. And we can only say in a whisper that that's the Mad Bavarian Band redone as the Polish Pickle Packers. Class of 1988. Once Upon a Time. Sue Thompson, Jen Colby, Beverly Garnett, Louisa Jolson, Eden Marceau, Terry Chaffee, Sharif Aziz, Kathy Thibodeau, Peter Camp, Eric Daniels. 30th reunion, class of 1988, Into the Woods. The Hurdy-Gurdy, driven by Blaine Gold. And that's Nina Tuckerman and her little goats. Rounding the corner, the class of 1998, the Blue Man Group, the 20th reunion. Jennifer Perkins, Maureen Garman, Leanne Gilson, Donna Hazen, Christina White, Mike Sturrow, Rob Tessier, Rob Stryder. Class of 1998, the Blue Man Group. And here come the Mini Racers. Out of Cairo Shrine from Milton, Vermont. All right, class of 2003, Singing in the Rain. It's their 15th reunion. Kyle Lewis, Leanne Hazen, Rob Doughton, Eileen Fowler, Stephanie LeBlanc, Becky Kennison, Sarah Lewis. Class of 2003, 15th reunion, Singing in the Rain. Leapin' Lena, out of Newport, New Hampshire. And here's just 5 years out, the class of 2013 with Mamma Mia. Travis Galt is driving, Kathy Levitt, Alex King, James Morgan, Joe McKinney, Liz Miller. Mamma Mia. And here come our new graduates, 74 strong, Woodstock High School class of 2018. Just graduated last night. That's our wonderful jazz band under Jody Henderson and So here's our new class, 74 strong. Valedictorian Ella McMaster, salutatorian and class president Kyle Weirather. Produced a championship ice hockey team and a championship girls tennis team and an almost championship football team. Newest graduates, newest members of the Alumni Association, class of 2018. I'll come back on mic after the parade when the judges have decided on the class winners for the floats. That's always fun. And who's the winner of the 50-50 raffle, and find out which alumni traveled here the farthest. Don't forget, if you came from a long way away, please tell them there at the Alumni Association booth. Don't forget our class dinners tonight. And the class of 1978 is having a dance at the Masonic Hall that's open to everybody. Tomorrow morning there's breakfast at the Masonic Hall. Great place to see alumni from other classes, and that too is not just for alumni, but open to everybody. So thanks again to our alumni president, Gene Baker Johnson, who's leaving office this year. Our parade coordinators, Donna Wood Jones, does a great job every year, and Dennis Wright, and also Leanne Gould Chenoweth, and so many others work so hard to make Alumni Day a success. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'll come back to you with winners of the prizes when we have them. So the winners of the 2018 prizes for the floats. First of all, in the most original category, first prize goes to Greece, class of 1981. The second place goes to School of Rock, class of 1978. And the third place, most original, goes to Annie, class of 58. Now for the category of most humorous. The third place prize goes to Blue Man, class of 1998. The second prize for the humorous category goes to Priscilla, class of 1983. And the first prize in the humorous category goes to Hair, class of 1968. So next we have the artistic prize, and then finally the judge's choice, which is the grand prize. So for artistic, third place goes to class of 2003, Singing in the Rain. Second place goes to class of 1988, Into the Woods. First class goes to, this is for first prize, for the artistic category, goes to Fiddler on the Roof, class of 1961. And here is the overall $100 Judge's Choice. The grand prize for the parade goes to the class of 1973, South Pacific. South Pacific. Couple more announcements. The alumni from the farthest away is Jeff McGee. Don't have Jeff's class, but he came from Hawaii. So that's the island out beyond Oahu in the middle of the Pacific. Jeff McGee from Hawaii, where there's no volcano. But we're glad he came here for Alumni Day. He's the alumni from the farthest distance away. And the winner of the 50-50 raffle is Hal Buck. Hal Buck. So I think that's everything. Thanks once again, everybody, for coming. Have a nice time here on the green afterwards. And thanks very much to our judges for their service.